All right, fantastic. Well, as part of our recap of the year that has been, the year that just was, we will go through all the great things that we've been up to for 2023 annual report. And I think I get to start, unless Shevik, if you want to see any opening, I don't know, framing remarks.
Any omissions are not intentional.
Awesome. Well, then I've got the first slide. One of the great big projects that we executed last year was the Lawns to Legumes project. And this is a state grant that funded great pollinator, prairie plantings, community engagement and education. Our community organizer, Jessica Willman, really has been at the helm of this project and has led a group of community volunteers to form the St. Pollinators of South Como, which is just far and away the best name that you could think of for this type of group in the city. The group selected a contractor, solicited applications from households to install 5 boulevard gardens and 3 bee lawns in the neighborhood, as well as a pollinator garden at the Orchard Rec Center. So that was a huge year, a lot of success to celebrate. And looking ahead, we have a second round of boulevard sites that we're selecting now, and plans are moving forward towards an installation at the long vacant site in Front and Jameson, which is a super fun site. So really excited to see something beautiful and green go there.
Hello. Hey, so meetings and attendance. In 2022, we had the full board met with quorum 12 times. Environment Committee met 12 times. Land Use Committee met 11 times. Neighborhood Relations Committee also met 11 times. The officers met 12 times. Total regular meeting attendance was 710 people. 200 so far in 2023. In August, we changed our meeting schedule and began offering hybrid meetings, which grew 73 in-person attendees in the second half of 2022. 181 continued to attend virtually via Zoom. I'm definitely one of those. We recorded 13 presentations plus 5 Sunday series from our meetings and made them available on our website and newsletter. Meeting minutes are archived on the website, always within a week of board approval at district10comopark.org/minutes.
Great, thanks, Ben.
So for our community engagement plan in 2022, we always had the longstanding ice cream social that was well known in Como, but we decided we wanted to target more people, more areas of the neighborhood. So we changed that to having the 4 sub-district events that would include the ice cream social. And this plan included flyering the various neighborhoods that we were hosting an event in, and we specifically mapped out, or Jessica mapped out, areas that rental properties were prominent and apartments, trying to get a wider reach in our neighborhood for people to attend. We've looked at that 2022 schedule and how the events went, and we've adjusted that for our plans in 2023. And we've already started with the February Blizzard breakfast that had a great turnout of 300 people. And we have an upcoming event at Orchard Rec Center for the pickup and party on May 13th.
Just to dive a little deeper into these sub-district events, last year we did the April 30th Northdale Celebrate Spring event, was our first kickoff event. We had 100 people. We partnered with the Northdale Rec staff and had community tabling and a planting station. As Lizzie mentioned, we tripled that number at the updated version of that event in February, the Blizzard Breakfast. June 4th, we did the Pickup and Party at Orchard Rec, which is the May 13th event this year coming up. We had 75 last year. It included a cleanup of that neighborhood around Orchard Rec. And because of all of our food trucks bailing at the last minute, an impromptu cookout, which is now, this year, a planned cookout. Then our ice cream social once again hit the 600 attendance number, by far our most attended event, also our traditional annual event. We're hoping to build those other events to be ice cream social size over time, and this year's Blizzard Breakfast was a great sign that it's working. And then we also did the September 10th Tilden Park Harvest Festival. And that would be in Subdistrict 1. We had 200 people show up to that, and the pie contest that I was a big naysayer of actually turned out really amazing, and the sack races were a big hit. We again had cute community tables, and we even tested out the idea of doing the Lindblomston shuttle for the event, which they're open to us doing it again. We just need more people to step up as drivers to make it happen. Just saying.
So this was the first event that I was involved with, and I guess a couple things about it. I was really impressed with how well it was set up and how easy, user-friendly it was for all the people that showed up to dump things off to easily get to the correct spot to put their stuff. And once again, just amazed at the amount of people that were there. I've lived in the area for a long, long time. Heard about it, never gone over there, and it really serves a need. So at any rate, whoever can volunteer again this year would be great. 23 volunteers this year, 523 vehicle loads, 64 bikes, and there's people there that are rehabbing them. Yeah, and Maggie is the one that puts it together, so thanks.
Okay, along with that, Gold, I co-chair the environmental committee, and just a couple things that big events we do. We partner with the watershed district to do the Como Lake cleanup and the curb cleanup initiatives, and we get a partner grant that funds both of these events to help support it. For the Lake Como cleanup, we did 4 of them last year between May and October. Total of all those events, we had 112 volunteers donating 253 hours, and we collected 336 pounds of trash with a bunch of interesting things in that. You can see the list of volunteers here who helped. I just want to list one that's missing, and that's Shevik. He has been critical to the administration portion for the events leading, the pre-events activities, as well as the post-events, as well as the grant application and the year-end report. So I very much appreciate the support we get from you on Shevik. I should say too, for the lake cleanup, this event, for those who aren't aware of it, for a Saturday or weeknight, we take some hours and community members come together and just walk around the lake, clean up the park. We provide some refreshments, and we also have tools and supplies to support that. The next one is the Como curb cleanup, and that is residents volunteering to clean up the front of their yard in the fall, or front of their curb in the fall, to clean up leaves. And last year we did almost 25,000 feet of clean, which is 3 times around the lake, to give you some perspective of it. To really blow your perspective away, one stat missing is 0.00126% of the way to the moon is what we cleaned up. So that is really a demoralizing number that I probably shouldn't say. But all this effort, why we do all of this is, right now our sewer system's really efficient at pulling our water from the leaves, and which leaches off the phosphorus, which goes right into the lake, and it fuels the invasive curly-leaf pondweed plant. And we pulled out last year, getting close to 8 pounds of phosphorus. And to put that into perspective, that's 1.595 tons of the weed that did not grow because of that. We also are hosting again the citywide spring cleanup. That's this Saturday. We do that at the pavilion, and last year we had about 150 volunteers, and that's where people pick up supplies, go around the lake, go around the park, and just clean up trash around it. And our first cleanup for the lake, or I should say the Como cleanup, is in the fall. I'm sorry, the Como curb cleanup is in the fall. The Lake Como cleanup is May 23rd, that's Tuesday night. So if you're interested in that, it'll be in our newsletter. And now we move on to the community garden.
Hello, all. I just stuck my, can you hear me? I just stuck my finger in my eye and it has jalapeno pepper. So if I start crying. Okay, so thank you everybody to and Shevik for putting this great presentation together. I'm one of the co-coordinators for the garden, the community garden. My counterpart is Joni Bringardner, no pun intended. And last year we had three of us who were co-coordinators. Becky Wooten was co-coordinator for about a little over half of the season. So last year we had 29 gardeners and 25 garden plots, and then we had 8 on the waiting list. And I believe this year we were able to place almost everybody in a plot. Oh yeah, next point. Everyone on the waiting list was invited for the 2023 season, which is awesome. We also had some bylaw updates to our garden rules that I think will work really well, and everybody was in agreement with them when we met. Gardeners are very opinionated, so it's hard to get them all on the same page sometimes, but we had a really good kickoff meeting earlier in the spring. Well, actually in the middle of the winter, it was still winter. So looking forward to this year. I'm going to also report on the Churchill Rain Garden, and I probably won't do this really good justice, but so I'll just read the points here. We held a June maintenance event with volunteer coordinators and Girl Scouts from the German Immersion School. And we involved longtime coordinator Sandra Peterson, who moved out of the neighborhood. Others involved were Allison, Angela, and Bonnie and Amy. So they stepped up into the space, and it's looking great. The garden has a maintenance grant through the Capital Region Watershed District, which is up to $2,000 per year through 2027. So that's my report.
Thanks, Abby. I'm going to talk a little bit about what we have been doing in land use the last year. And I think I'm not just going to list all the things we do. When you look at this list, though, I think it really highlights that land use is sometimes the business end of our work here in the district council. It's not like really exciting topics sometimes when we have to talk about parking variances or the height of a building or offsets or backsets or something like that. But it represents some of the real challenges that residents can have when they have to interface with some city policies. And so I've really come to think about land use as not just a way that we as a district council weigh in on local development, on local licensing, but also as really like an education platform to help local residents figure out how to find their levers of control within the city. So if you, I just would tell people, like, if you are planning an addition to your house, reach out long before you're ever filing paperwork, and we can try to help you figure out who you're going to need to talk to. If you have parking issues on your street or speeding issues on your street, you can spend days or weeks, I think sometimes, in the spaghetti tangle of St. Paul departments, or you can call us and we can try to get you a little bit more directly directed to the folks that can help you out. So in the coming year, I should say, I think land use will certainly look forward to more license renewals and zoning changes and some of the nuisance issues that come up in the neighborhood. But my hope is that we are able to continue to do that while providing access and education to our neighbors.
Weekly newsletter, very fun project that we send out every week on Friday mornings, now has over 1,900 subscribers and apparently had an over 60% open rate in 2022. I was in marketing school for many years, and that is actually a really, really good open rate. That's a really good statistic, and I'm very impressed with us all here. Apparently we tallied 15K links clicked in 2022 newsletters. Everybody who contributes material for the newsletters has done a great job. Special thanks to board members Lizzie. I'm not going to thank myself. That's awkward. But yeah, I did it one time, had a great time, and would love to do it again.
All right, part of that newsletter, the Know Your Como section, which had more than one story per month, which is great, and we're still on that pace. It looks like we've got the whole selection right here, which is very cool. So.
Yeah, and it's only picking up in pace, I tell you.
A lot of history here.
On to the Como Tree Track, which happens to be some of my favorite programming that we do at D10. We have coordinated 2 guided tree trek events in Como Park in June and October. Our amazing tree trek guide, second generation master tree identifier, and I'm butchering her regular title. She's a master of something. I saw it on the website today. I can't remember what it is, which is a shame. But we kind of received a grant from the St. Paul Audubon Society to expand the self-guided content, and so Stephanie kind of went through the park and re-tagged and upgraded some tagging and added some additional tagging to a number of the trees, 43 of them in total. So you can both do a self-guided tour, which you can find on our website to walk through the park and identify these trees, or you can join one of our tree treks. The next one is coming up in June on, I believe, the 24th. Really cool way to sort of interact with the park and the neighborhood.
We also did an awful lot with the Neighborhood History Project. So this project came out of the Neighborhood Relations Committee and the Equity Program and the Equity Committee. And since then, we've kind of continued its expansion and working with St. Kate's to do different research in the neighborhood and help us with some oral histories. So we tabled at all 4 events. We have been working with the St. Kate's students and staff on oral histories, and they're doing an art and technology project for us that we can do. So they're learning about the neighborhood and how community groups can work with students and other organizations. We've hosted a walking tour for them. We have actually to date now completed 10 oral history interviews, and we are still applying for funding through Minnesota Historical Society to hopefully get those transcripts completed, crossing our fingers for that. The St. Kate's students did a really nice story map that's a glimpse into Como Park by using the interviews that we did do, and that's located on the website. Again, we've been working with their fall art and technology and data visualization classes. We've created 5 Know Your Como articles, and we had one of the articles in the Midway Como Monitor. And we have created and presented a house history training that had 30+ community members. We also just did a history chat that had 10 people show up to it this Saturday. And so we're just trying to see what is the most interesting history topics in the neighborhood that people are looking forward to hearing.
On to the Como Neighborhood Honor Roll. D10 has continued to support and recognize the good work of our neighbors through the Neighborhood Honor Roll. And in 2022, we nominated these 6 folks for their contributions to the neighborhood. Many of them have been pillars of the community for a long time, working in organizing in our neighborhood and making a difference for everyone who they interact with. So they'll get their names added to the plaque. Oh, they're already on the plaque. Quite an honor. And yeah, more information there on the website link if you want to read more about their stories.
Awesome, and I will wrap up here just by lifting up a few other highlights from the year. We hosted 5 blood drives at the Zoo and Conservatory, which is amazing. We had 240 donors, including 24 first-time donors. Our goal was 211 units, and we exceeded that by collecting 239. We've got additional drives on the calendar planned through the end of this year. You can find those on our website. We helped to organize the Como Garage Sale, which we changed last year to a free to participate online map, registered 45 participating households, and mark your calendars because the 2023 version is coming the weekend of May 18th through the 21st. We also, served as fundraisers for organizations in the neighborhood. We raised almost $2,000 and distributed that to the Como Block Nurse Program, Lynn Blomston, and the Booth Brown House. And then we ran the Sunday series in 2022 for 5 weeks in February and March. Those really tough months to get through. We were offering programming on Zoom with topics like the state fair history, economic impact of racial covenants, and pruning trees and shrubs. And those recordings are available on our website.